Now was the House of Representatives in sessions debating issues around open grazing. Recall that this has become a national issue, especially from reaction and comments from the Minister of Justice, as well as other political leaders across the country. Now let's get into our discussion now. Now, the repeated attacks on offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission has become a source of concern. Now, the chairman of the electoral body, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says that the serial attacks on its offices and facilities, especially in the southeast geopolitical zone, are orchestrated and targeted at the electoral umpire ahead of the 2023 general elections. Now, he warns that this might cripple the electoral umpire's capacity to conduct more elections as the attacks affect the commitment to continue to improve the electoral process. And that's what we'll be talking about in the next couple of minutes. We'll have in the studio public affairs analyst Akin Fatunke joining us to make sense of some of these issues and these trends. Good morning. It's good to have you join me.
Good morning, Mike.
Great.
Nice to have me here.
Exactly.
And, I like to say good morning to Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly.
It will really be good morning.
We praise the good morning. Well, certainly with the experiences a lot of people have had in the last few weeks, days, months, every day is not necessarily as good as it's supposed to be, but we hope and pray. Now, we've been following trends of attack on INEC offices and facilities, especially in the southeast. In the recent times, it seemed to be occurring more in the southeast. What do you think is going on? Some people have said that there are agitations and people are, trying to ensure they disrupt 2023 elections that will be coming forth. Others say they just want to create some level of diversion. What do you think is responsible here?
Mike, an alarm is going up in my head. And that somebody who's been a practitioner in my private capacity working in large organizations, when semblance of things like this begin to happen, alarm, and something needs to be done. We seem to be taking things, perhaps say we're taking things along our strides. Now, what has just happened in Enugu headquarters? Remember, that will be the second time. The first was at Obolo Afo headquarters. And I know that the last time any of such happened to an INEC headquarters was about a year ago, April 17, year 2020. And I remember INEC came out clearly and said, well, maybe electrical faults, nothing to worry about, and things were going to go on. But situations where, something similar that happened in Abia at Ohafia local government, the newly refurbished, INEC office was gutted by fire. So what will be the root causes? Clearly, tangentially, the falcon seems not to be listening to the falconer, like what Shakespeare would have said. We have a situation where we are seeing a red card, in football, when you see a red card, you go out and you can't play anymore. We've seen multiple red cards that are going, and unlike what we are saying, it is the southeast, south, Ebonyi, Abia, going on and on. And one of the root causes, as far as I'm concerned, is that there is a concerted effort of a lack of belief in government institutions, clearly. This is coming on the wake of police stations being
being attacked.
Correctional centers where if you are convicted, correctional centers are being thrown out there. Not only is it that the police stations are being attacked, weapons are being taken out of the police stations, and worst case, police officers are being killed. This is not stopping at that level. Wives of police officers are also hitting the dust, and seeing things seems to just be going on. So if you take this twin aspect of police, correctional centers being bombed,
and then INEC offices?
Nothing. And then INEC offices, it's clearly, to me, stating that, group of people or large swathe of people are losing confidence in government institutions that will naturally deliver the dividends of democracy as it should be.
Yeah, but if it is just the issue of losing confidence, there has to be an end to this, because if you lose confidence, you're not bringing an alternative. So if you lose confidence, you want to destroy it. Doesn't it have a semblance of the fact that there could be something more sinister?
And that takes us to who done it? Where is the intelligence? Where is Nigeria? Where is the Nigeria of our dreams that our founding fathers have founded on truth, equity, fair play, and competence? Where is the intelligence, you ask me? Some time ago, I think, was it around, early May, a truckload of ammunition fell around Oka Road in Onitsha. And then ammunition fell out there. And the people called the police. Oh, come on, what is going on there? Up till the time we're speaking, no further comments. The ammunition vanished into thin air. So, where is this intelligence? To say, are we sure that fifth columnists are not involved in this? Like one Google's, general that we had in Nigeria at one point in time, not the best, kept on saying repeatedly, when things like this continue to happen, it must have the hand of fifth columnists up to the top, out there. No arrests, no prosecution, no communication to make us really understand that what could be going on here. The only communication that has come to Nigerians is unknown gunmen. And that sounds familiar.
Exactly.
There will always be unknown gunmen that cannot be touched. So I think fifth columnists are involved in here, and we should not, and with good common sense, should not look too far to begin to see that we saw trends of these unknown gunmen who just come from nowhere and they will never be caught. Remember the answers? When the hoodlums came, and it was alleged, at high quarters that, maybe officers of government in government vehicles came and disrupted. And just about yesterday or 2 days ago, at the NLC, rally, unknown guys with sticks all came out and they just
thugs
just into thin air, and nothing has been said about them. It calls, to my mind, a capacity problem, a deliberate attempt to shield, and a deliberate attempt maybe to disenfranchise, the voters registration exercise that's supposed to be going on, the expansion of voters register. INEC is my professional institute. Now, INEC is being incapacitated when the monies are not even there. And Professor Mahmoud kept on saying, well, money needs to be released. And part of these scarce funds that have been released to refurbish, to upgrade the equipment, is now being destroyed with wanton, and nobody has been caught. It calls for big questions.
Yeah, he has said this could impact on the elections that are coming, especially if you see the Anambra State is supposed to conduct its governorship election later this year. And we've had one of those incidences in Anambra State too. But he's saying the way it is generally, it might affect or impact or have an impact on the elections, in general elections in 2023.
I dare say, not just the elections in Anambra State, the by-elections, the term elections for governors, and ultimately the 2023 elections. There is clearly an attempt by fifth columnists to render the democratic process comatose, to instill fear into people. And I know it's been on, some groups separatists have been saying over time elections will not happen, people should not come out for elections. And I know the Southeast governors are clear in saying yes, elections can go on. But if after all said and done, and this is happening on a regular scale, on my last count, hopefully, before we finish this discussion, another INEC office will not have been gutted in flames. Yeah, about 23 INEC offices at a time when we all know, we can see, we can smell the fact that government revenues has been dwindling. I mean, it's scarce, and the international community are already sending signals. We're not going to EU visas. I'd like to cover my face in shame. You know, anybody that is going to be disrupting, you know, the electoral process is not going to be granting visa. In between, in there, from my experience, intelligence is out there going that the fifth columnists are highly, highly placed at the highest of the highest levels. Okay? And it is only when things begin to happen at that level that you will always say unknown. Unknown. We know them. We know some of the terrorists that have been terrorizing us. We are discussing with them informally. Unfortunately, some of the rhetorics that have been coming out of government of late, including the latest one that, please pardon my language, very incoherent and very illogical, like trying to, you know, stoke the fire, putting, you know, a matchstick in a burning fire, with the Attorney General coming to compare, you know, the headers attack and, you know,
spare parts.
And the spare parts. Yeah. Clearly, you know, when people begin to hear this, the more they now begin to say, should we have confidence in this kind of rulers? Do we have confidence in the fact that democracy is going to be able to deliver for us what we want? Don't forget, in Imo State, for instance, you know, the issues surrounding should it be, should it not be, and all that kind of thing. You know, Supreme Court installed a governor, it is not our choice, it's our choice, and what have you. People are already losing a lot of patience. So, an avenue has been created, like the lawyers will say, a lacuna now exists for fifth columnists, for people who don't want the interest of the entity called Nigeria to step in, and against the background of some of the rhetoric that I've just mentioned, and the fact that we just seem to have gone mute for whatever reason. Intelligence seems not to do what they need to do. It's not the first time that Nigeria, we had the Wild Wild West, and we had intelligence that came and, you know, clearly even said certain things is going to happen. And I'm going to also say that a situation where a sitting governor made a call to the center to say he got some intelligence information that hoodlums were going to attack, and they were going to, well, hoodlums, I call them terrorists, you know, advisedly, were going to attack, and then that governor was kept waiting to hear from the center, and that never came. And the whole thing now just got there. What does that tell you, Mike? It tells you that not only is it that the center cannot hold, seems not to be holding, and unless and until we all put ourselves together and decide to do what is right, and what should we do? Low-hanging fruits. Let's do leadership by example. What we are doing now is just, you know, tinkering around and playing games with ourselves. It has to be communication. Communication, in fact, over communication at this time. And we have to look at the core issues. There are core issues that has been buried in the ground. The issue of restructuring, the revenue allocation. You know, the South governors have just come out to say this is the direction they should go, and the Senate President is saying no, it should not be. And I am coming out to say this clearly from the perspective of a tested hand. I worked in the private sector. We had things that happened, even worse acrimonies that happened to us in the private sector where I worked from. And we had a Nigerian who led the cat there. Mobile Oil Nigeria PLC, one of the Exxon Mobil. It was so bad, the vision was set, communication on a daily basis, Of course, people did not want to agree. The template is still there. If government, whether you're looking at NLC or you're looking at what is happening out there, in the southeast, in the south-south, if that is what we are looking at and saying that we cannot hold elections, the template is out there. If government can be humble enough, this can be done by Nigerians with a very clean, fair heart and mind. Remember, Mike, about 2 weeks ago I was here and I broke to you the passage of an icon, the lady that composed the national anthem. That lady seems to be going unsung because we've kept our focus elsewhere. I know Tawa Kikumi, who designed the flag, has been recognized, but Mrs. Felicia Adebola, Adeyoyin, who composed that pledge, left us May 1 on Labor Day. Remember, you and I recited that pledge that day. Pledge to Nigeria, my country.
To be faithful, loyal
and honest. Serve Nigeria with all our strength. To defend Nigeria's unity.
And uphold her honor and glory.
So help us God. Why are the people that we have elected to lead us and are ruling us from all intents are not following this to the core?
Now, the point there is, we have had this, we've had it wonderfully before. If you look at the history of Nigeria from the build-up to the independence and then the First Republic, we've had it when it comes to building a political culture. We were trying to get used to it, but comparatively to what we have now, it seemed we had it better that time. Even in the Second Republic, in the days of UPN and NPN and all of that, politics and all of those things, they had their issues at that time, but if you compare it to now, there was more quality at that time. At what point did we really get it wrong?
I tell you, we got it wrong when Nigeria and the people we elect into governance have not come through the ballot boxes. Yes, in the period that you mentioned, we had snippets of ballot snatching. I know at one point, somewhere in Bomadi, they said somebody swallowed. I don't know how Nigerians human beings can swallow ballot boxes. We had the Wild West. And then we had somebody like Brahim Waziri who now then said politics without bitterness. Like you said, these are child's play to what is playing out here. People did, privately, they were caught, some were not caught, some were, jailed, some died in the process. The situation where a whole state apparatus seems to be, in a manner of speaking, perceptively, being deployed to do the wrong thing. W.B. Yeats said it. The center seems not to be holding. And I'm happy Mr. President eventually spoke to us in France and made a commitment to the democratic norms and that he's going to follow democratic process. We need to see this being acted on. But let's address the core issues. We cannot continue like Nero to bury our heads and then in the sand and then blowing the needle, the fiddle. The Nigerian state seems to be going tatters. We must come to dialogue. More and more people are saying we should dialogue. We are clear about the inefficiencies and the inefficacies of government apparatus, including the intelligence arms, who are clear, easy to quickly issue statements to tell us, say for instance, that some groups are coming to attack some other groups. They got that information, and yet this information that they ordinarily should have to stem some of these things we have in a tide, and I see a bit of a murmur. It's very, very worrisome. We need to awake to our responsibilities. I've just told you that there is a template we have in there. If government is ready, the national economy was going to be grounded. That was part of it. Labor was going to ground, and then, the acrimony was all badly stated. But we came in with depth, we came in with vision, we came in with fairness, we addressed all the issues. But most importantly, and that is the point I'm trying to make here now, We led by example. It was unassailable. We didn't have cacophony of voices. Somebody will come on television to try and stoke, our fault lines. Somebody will, non-state actors will rise up and will tell you that they know where to get some of these people, and yet we haven't had anything meaningful, effective from government.
All right.
Calls for a lot
of concern.
A lot of concern that we can overcome.
Yes.
If you choose to. We need leaders. We need leadership at all fronts, from state, from local government, from the federal especially. And the ministers of government, this is the time to please listen. Please listen. A lot of people, they listen, of course, but they don't hear. It's a tactic that people need to learn from.
All right.
And if they are prepared to learn from it, there are Nigerians who are out there. They are not necessarily politicians, but they are technical people who help us resolve the Nigerian conundrum.
All right.
It's possible.
Okay, we have to leave it here now. Thank you so much, Akin Fatunke, for all of your insight into the analysis of the issues. Thank you very much. You're dressed like an Idoma man today, like from Benue.
I knew you were an Idoma man, and I decided to align. You see, these are part of the things I talk about. Sometimes you don't say certain things, but emotional intelligence tells you that I'm going to get you smiling this morning. I hope Nigeria gets smiling too.
We look forward to that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.